So the Florida Senate recently approved of arming school teachers in response to the Florida shooting. This is just an atrocious idea for several reasons. Now, first off, I'm going to check this real quick. But I think Florida is one of the states that has the biggest problem with teachers molesting students, or at least it's up there. And so now you give that teacher a gun? That's just a horrible idea for reasons that should be self-explanatory. Now it's just going to turn into, now they have more ability to molest students. And to be clear, I don't think all Florida teachers molest students. I'm just saying it's one of the bad places for that. And even then, there are still going to be power-hungry people who use that. You know, it's a lot. There's an old saying that something like rape's about power. Well, you give someone a gun, and who has the power? But the idea is this is going to stop mass shootings, which is just completely ridiculous. First off, it goes under the assumption that mass shooters are rational, which is completely untrue. Several of them, pretty much every single case, they had some kind of mental disability. They were irrational human beings by default. And that drove them to do the irrational act of shooting people. But even then, if we're going to pretend they're rational, what's really going to happen is the mass shooter is going to see a teacher has a gun, and they're going to shoot the teacher. You know, it's not going to be, which is just obvious what's going to happen. If you're trying to kill a bunch of people and one person can stop you, that's your first target. And these people always point to Israel. Oh, Israel has armed teachers, and they're doing fine. Well, Israel also does not contain a right to bear arms like the United States does. In Israel, the only way you can get a gun is through government approval, typically by joining the military. Because, of course, Israel needs a big military because, you know, that small strip in Gaza is coming for them guys. But that's a topic for another day. The only place in the world that has a gun culture that's even mildly comparable to the United States is probably Switzerland, if we're just talking about the first world. And even then in Switzerland, it's more, you get your bullets, you shoot them. People don't, like, stockpile bullets like a lot of people do in the U.S. So essentially, this is just an awful idea. I think this could maybe dent the mass shooting rate, but I don't feel like it's going to have the biggest impact, and more than likely it's going to do absolutely nothing, if not directly harm people. But that's it. I'm Ephrom, and good night.